wanted to bring to your attention and to the attention of the House, Mr. Speaker, that a catastrophe that has been visited on this country, Mr. Speaker, specifically this House, by the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I saw yesterday in the news that the Chief Justice has advised the President to dissolve Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And I also got documents circulated by Parliament on a detailed information that you shared with the Chief Justice. Mr. Speaker, what I came to realize is that either the Chief Justice did not read your detailed information or he ignored it, Mr. Speaker. Because if he had looked at your detailed information, Mr. Speaker, he will have advised the President otherwise. He will not have advised the President to dissolve Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the longest arm in exercising the sovereignty of the people of this country, Mr. Speaker, is Parliament. It is that arm that the Kenyans directly exercise their sovereignty, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, when you are told that arm of government can just be dissolved at the whims of one person, Mr. Speaker, it really pains people, Mr. Speaker. There are a lot of issues, Mr. Speaker, that needs to be canvassed, Mr. Speaker. Because this is not an issue of a decision of one person, Mr. Speaker. These members you are seeing here were elected by the people of this republic, Mr. Speaker, each one of them. And they are all carrying the mandate of the people of this country, Mr. Speaker. Unlike the executive or judiciary, who go through process of appointment, Mr. Speaker, and some of them are even vetted in this House, Mr. Speaker. This is the only organ of government, Mr. Speaker, that is vetted by the people themselves, Mr. Speaker. They are elected, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, there are issues that I want to raise that I feel the Chief Justice either ignored or he decided to close his eyes on them, or because he knows that he's going home, he wanted to release a bombshell and go home, Mr. Speaker, so that somebody who comes after him can handle the aftermath of that bombshell, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when Kenyans got the new constitution in 2010, they gave 5 years for Parliament to legislate on the issue. Maybe he wants to run for the governor of Nyamira. Mr. Speaker. Actually, the other day, the Chief Justice appeared before the Committee of Justice and Legal Affairs. I'm a member. And one of the issues that was discussed was his succession, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, precedent was set by the President of the previous Supreme Court, the President of the Court, and the Chief Justice, Honorable Willie Mutunga. He left office, Mr. Speaker, 6 months before the expiry of his term, Mr. Speaker, for good governance purposes, so that the judiciary can have time and space to go through the process of nominating through the JSC the new Chief Justice, Mr. Speaker. The Chief Justice told the committee in my presence that I am going to leave on 12th of January at midnight. That is when my term is ending. Before that, I'm in office. He even said, I am going to go on terminal leave on 12th of December for 1 month. But even that 1 month, I'm just on leave. I'm still working from home. It's on record. The answers are there. Mr. Speaker, me, I was shocked. Because Mr. Speaker, for good governance, in fact, the issue was raised there that for the 4 years he has been the Chief Justice, he has never gone on leave. So they were saying cumulatively, he has 4 months to go for leave. So the 4 months will have begun in August. I don't know whether his advisory now is valid, Mr. Speaker, because if you are supposed to go on leave, and you are issuing now advisory at this point in time, when your time has expired, Mr. Speaker, what advice? How can somebody take your advice is serious, Mr. Speaker? For example, when Parliament goes for on recess, the long recess for the elections in May, Mr. Speaker, then you issue your communication in July. You will take your communication serious, Mr. Speaker, and we are on the ground campaigning, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, these are both constitutional and legal matters, Mr. Speaker. We have passed here that the High Court has suspended, Mr. Speaker. One time we passed here the Cybercrime Act. It went to the President for assent. It was assented to. Then the court stopped it, Mr. Speaker. 2 days later, the Chief Justice was complaining that bloggers are attacking him on social media, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, as a house, we can't be under siege. We can't be under siege. I have seen people outside saying, oh, Parliament must go home. Go home where? We are going nowhere, Mr. Speaker. We are going nowhere. We are going nowhere for sure. Our term ends on 8th of August 2022 or 5th somewhere, the second Tuesday. The Constitution says elections happen the second Tuesday of the 5th year. Which election is this that Maraga is asking for now, Mr. Speaker? In which Constitution? The Constitution is very clear. Elections happen in this country on the second Tuesday of the 5th year of the parliamentary term. Which election is this, Mr. Speaker? And the question I want to ask is one, even if we are to go to elections now, within 60 days, Mr. Speaker, how are we going to achieve the gender parity? Because Kenyans will still elect more men than women. It's for a fact, Mr. Speaker. So these are issues that we should have discussed in a constitutional amendment, constitutional processes, like the BBI, the reggae, Mr. Speaker. Now, how are we going to solve this constitutional crisis by just having an advisory to the president? The president has no power to solve this house. We are not a creation of the president in the first place. Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I want to urge this house to stay calm. We are going nowhere. That's an advice to the president. The president is not a member of this house. As we are run under the Parliamentary Service Commission with the chairmanship of the Speaker, if you dissolve this parliament, I'll go home. But anybody else outside there, he's just dreaming, Mr. Speaker, in this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I urge you to indulge some few members. There are some eminent lawyers here like Kaloma. And me. And here, you can, because, you know, mine was not legal. Mine was Juakali, Mr. Speaker. So now you can look for the lawyers here who can add. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.